Okay, thank you very much for waiting. I propose to start. Maybe additional people will join later. So welcome again to the festival project webinar. The objective is actually twofold. First of all, give you the overall introduction to the festival project to explain what it is about. And the second part is more about how you could interact with the festival platform, how you can use it for your own developments, experiments. We will try to give you an introduction to the platform and the portal, and also to explain a bit more in detail with a live demo. And with a concrete example, we will try to illustrate with an example how you could use the festival platform. At the end, there will be a question and answer session, but please feel free to ask any question you may have during the presentation by using the you have a specific question tab here in your GoToWebinar tool, so you can use that field, question field, or you can also simply put your questions in the chat window, but maybe with the question tab we can better manage those. And please note that the webinar will be recorded and it will be available later offline on our website, and you will be notified about that. So I will be giving and by the way, we will have at the end an overall question and answer session in which you can also ask the question. We will give you the floor, and you can ask the question with using your voice. So let me start with the introduction to the festival project, and then I will give the floor to my colleague Juan Ramon from University of Cantabria, that will do the overall presentation of the platform and portal and a live demo. And then our partner from Osaka University, Makoto, he will give you an example of how they used festival platform and the data that we provide from Santander, for example, as well as some live data, how they realized this an experiment on route recommendation. Okay, so to give you why we built this project, to give about the context and the motivation that we had, it was based on the fact that technologies and service that would be developed for smart ICT need adequate platforms for testing and validation. In contrast to, let's say, existing other type of software that we can use, IoT applications are really dependent to the physical location. That's why the real-time live testbeds are necessary, and to set up those testbeds are difficult and expensive because we don't have necessarily all the physical space that we have, the necessary large number of sensors that we may need for a given application. There had been some funding, let's say, from Europe and Japan to build some different testbeds. But the problem is that there are many of them, and they are mainly domain-specific isolated testbeds, while increasingly we need testbeds, we need applications that need testbeds from different domains to have this, let's say, horizontal testbed. We have this lack of interoperability among those testbeds. So each testbed has its own protocols, has its own APIs, own data models, and this indeed does not help to mutualize the resources that we have all over the world. So the idea of this project was to federate those testbeds from Europe and from Japan, so that we could give the possibility of using those testbeds to the researchers, SMEs, startups from both sides, let's say from Europe and Japan. We have a couple of testbeds that we will be talking about in the coming slides. So the challenges that we have indeed, how to federate those different testbeds that use different technologies. We have different types of resources. It can be IoT devices, it can be the IT like computing power, storage capacity, etc. The open data that we have increasingly in different cities, for example, as well as living labs, that provides this interaction with end users. So another challenge was indeed to define a uniform data model and access interfaces in order to access to those heterogeneous resources and services, and at the end to come with an integrated platform that would provide this support that we are looking for the experimenters from various domains. It can be smart homes, smart city, shopping, energy, etc. Another important challenge is to the security and user privacy and personal data management. When we talk about the physical environments and users, we have to be careful how to manage those sensors, how they can collect potentially some personal data, so how we deal with those issues. And also to validate what we do with an example of cross testbed implementation, an example of experimentation to validate the platform. And at the end, how we will ensure the sustainability of the platform. So the project is for 3 years. So what will happen after the end of the project? So these were about the challenges that we had to address within this project. So our approach is indeed to provide an experimentation as a service layer in which we hide, let's say, provide the homogeneous access to those heterogeneous resource types. It can be open data, it can be IoT devices, it can be IT devices, living labs, etc. Typically, for example, you need an experiment to do in Santander. You need some open data that is available in Santander city with the transportation information to weather conditions, etc. You need some real-time data like the positioning of buses or real-time traffic status or real-time status on the parking of bicycles, etc. And you need some computing power to run your experiments. You need a considerable storage space. And also you would like to have some end user feedbacks from those applications. You want to know what would be the opinion of the end users for those applications. In order to answer all of these, we provide those resources by using our festival experimentation service layer, so that an experimenter can access to all of those resources by using a unique tool. So this is our approach. So we have a certain number of what we call test beds, and also physical test beds, like physical experimentation spaces, like an experimental smart house in Japan, an experimental smart house in France, in our premises in CA, a data center that allows us making experiments on how to better manage smart energy, Santander as a city-scale experimentation space, etc. So the festival consortium is composed of several research institutes and industrial partners from Europe and Japan. So CA is coordinator from the EU side, and Osaka University from the Japanese side. So the project will end on end of September 2017, with the final review of the project on November. So the objective is indeed, as I mentioned, joining the forces and connecting and federating the EU and Japan platforms for experimenters, and to produce concrete results, concrete experimentations, concrete platforms, concrete portals that would be reused by different stakeholders. So we are having 3 main outputs. This federated experimentation platform and portal, allowing to exploit existing EU-Japan testbeds by the experimenters. In the project, we are doing our own experiments on top of the platform. So these are the other outputs of the project. And finally, we have our sustainability plan, in which, based on existing collaborations that we have and the project results, we are building an alliance, Urban Technology Alliance on Smart Cities, in which there's a particular focus on testbeds that I will be talking about that in the coming slides. So the first output is first of all experimentation platform and portal. I will not talk so much about that because this will be the subject of the next presentation that will be done by Juan Ramon. Just to say you that okay, you have this a portal in which you can create experiments, you can use data, you can access data, you can manage your experiments, you can visualize data, etc. So this will be the presentation of the next session. So I will skip that. I will just give a quick overview on the experiments that we have done in the festival project, and that you can have all the details about those experiments in our deliverable 2 that is available on our website. So we have focused on 3 application domains: smart energy, building, and smart shopping. As I mentioned earlier, we have a certain number of experimentation spaces, smart home and shopping example, and also city scale experimentation space. Just to give you, as I mentioned, an example, I don't expect that you understand everything, but just to give you a very quick overview. For example, in this ATR data center, we had done an experiment on how to manage and optimize the energy consumption in a data center by using different modelization techniques, comparing, for example, linear regression model with convolutional neural network model, and obtaining some results about that. This was one example on energy, smart energy domain. Smart energy at home, we have done some experiments on how to better manage the energy consumption at home by using this experimental smart home in Japan. We have done an experiment on privacy-friendly cameras, in which we are just sending some features that we capture from smart cameras. We don't send the images, but we just send some information about the image in order to be privacy-friendly, and we did that in the experimentation space that we have in our premises in PTL. We have done environmental aware smart station experimentation in Osaka and Kobe cities, in which we have installed several sensors capturing different parameters like temperature, humidity, air condition, the pollution levels, detecting some substances in the air, and using accelerometers. And we have compared these different values from different stations and sensors. In Santander, there's an experimentation ongoing on providing some location awareness to the connected market to better analyze the patterns of movement of people in this market, and also in the future providing some personalized offers to those clients from the shops of this market. Another smart shopping related experiment we have done in Japan, that also location awareness and providing other profiles from the users to understand which profile of people visits which stand, how much time they spend, and what are their profiles, by using let's say low-cost localization techniques such as Bluetooth Low Energy and Wi-Fi. And also another experiment that you will have, you'll know about that a bit more at the end of this presentation, a route recommendation example based on the personal interest of the person, how we could recommend some itineraries, some routes to those people by using open data and some other real data, real-time data from the city. And we have also a special, let's say, part in our project. So we have an artist involved in the project, which uses all the data that we capture from the environment. Some of them, let's say, not all, and also using some video images and doing some feedback. By using some feedback algorithms, he creates some effects, and he tries to interpret the big data that we capture from different sensors of the city. And you can have a video on a presentation of his performance on our YouTube channel that you can also find on our website. So you are here because you have received some emails or some tweets or some other messages that festival invites experimenters to be part of this initiative and to reuse the platform that we are providing. So you will see today what you can do with this resources that we provide. You can benefit of the accessing a large quantity of IoT devices, open data repositories in a unique way, and also some computing resources and storage resources that we can provide. So this is a project of 3 million euros for 14 partners, more or less. So we have built this platform. It was very challenging, but we have done successfully, and we are very proud of it. We don't have, unfortunately, financial support for your experiments, but we can provide all the technical support necessary through online documentation, and webinars, and help desk. So today it is to give you a general idea on what you can do, and we will be contacting you again, or also you can contact us further later. We can organize other more technical webinars, specifically on a certain topic, certain resource type, a certain part of the platform. So please feel free to request us help. So we are here for that. Last but not least, in terms of sustainability of this platform, so as I mentioned, the project will end in November, but we don't want that to disappear for sure, because we are very happy of what we did. So one option that we have, and it is a concrete option, let's say, to create an alliance on smart cities, what we call Urban Technology Alliance, in which we are joining forces. That we will have members from different types of stakeholders, from cities, large industry partners, researchers, startups, SMEs, etc. In order to provide this direct contact between city authorities and solution developers, which is missing currently. Either there's quite technological push alliances or initiatives ongoing. And at the same time, there are several networks of cities, but the level of technicity is not sufficiently in order to respond to current technological challenges. So we would like to build a one-stop showcase for comprehensible set of integrated open source smart city solutions, in which we will build a common language so that the city officers and technological people, they can understand and they can collaborate. It will provide networking possibilities between cities, small and large corporations, for exploring collaboration opportunities. This will provide an increased visibility to its members at international scale, which is quite important for the small actors in particular. You create a business ecosystem among the members to build end-to-end solutions. No one has one unique solution that can fit everything, so cooperation is very important. We will organize with this initiative pilot deployments and testbeds with the member cities, in which our platform will have also an important role. We will organize several events to exchange best practices, lessons learned among the different participants. So the initiative is coming from different, let's say, 3 EU-Japan projects currently, and we have also some Korean partners that are already confirmed their participation. So for sure we will be opening to. It is not limited to EU, Japan, or Korea. It is quite open to any country, any continent. We are starting to promote this just now. So one important thing is that we are joining force with the Eclipse community, which is one of the largest and most active open source community. Hundreds of members, hundreds of projects, etc. So this alliance will be as a working group in Eclipse, and it will provide indeed include this Eclipse community and provide an international visibility to our initiative. We will have some specific task groups on the architectural task group about the more technical things, testbed task group in which our platform will play an important role, to organize those different pilot deployments to validate the solutions in real-life environments. We will have also non-technical task groups, business task group to promote networking among the members, and also social task group to raise the voice of the citizen, so to put the citizens in the center of all the preoccupations and deal with the issues such as ethics, privacy, design, and art. So if you're interested, please contact me, and if you would like to define and influence the future direction of smart cities, have early access to join the produced software, reports, pilot deployment results, white papers, etc. Participating to the meetings, participating to the joint pilot deployments, gaining high visibility, international visibility as members, and other communication opportunities. So let me know if you are interested, and I would be happy to provide you more information about that. Thank you very much. That is all from my side. If you have any question, please feel free to put it in the questions tab or in the chat tab. I can respond it either by writing the response in this same tab. And at the end of the presentations, we will have a question and answer session. Okay, thanks again. Maybe Juan, I give you the floor to continue with the presentation.
Yes, thank you very much, Leven. Thank you for your presentation. Hello, everyone. This is Juan Ramon Santana from University of Cantabria, and I will be presenting the second part of the webinar that will be more technical, and I will present actually a walkthrough the platform. I walk through the platform and how to access it and how to perform some experimentation on it. I think all can see my slides. Well, the first thing I will present is I will be a bit I will introduce a bit the technical naming of or a dictionary for the festival platform, so every one of you can follow me more easily. First thing is what is the Festival EAS platform? As was explained by my colleague Levent, this is a testbed federation that provides a unique set of APIs to access a very heterogeneous resources from the different testbeds, meaning that the experiment you can do in a testbed that is located in Japan, for example, can be also replicated in a testbed that is located, for example, in Europe, either in Santander, France, etc. In that sense, we use a terminology terminology that might be confusing at the beginning, so I will try to explain you what we mean with the different names. First of all, resources, those are the assets that are provided by the testbeds and belongs to the different 4 types that are in the festival platform, that are open data, IoT, IT, or living lab resources. With those, I will refer to the following. IT resources, they are mainly composed by the virtual machines or the power processing resources you can get. If you want to experiment and you want to process any data, you have any program and need to process a large quantity of data, we provide the opportunity to get these IT resources, meaning that you can reserve these virtual machines, access them, and get power to process this large quantity of data. IoT resources, that meaning the sensors and actuators that provide information are accessible. This is important that those resources are accessible in real time, so the data you can get is in real time, and they are resources from all the different testbeds. Can be sensor from temperature, noise, or actuators like switching, turning on and off the different lights in some testbeds, etc. We also have the open data resources that are meaning all these public available open data sets that are in different cities, in that case in cities like from Santander or Lyon, but we manage to make them accessible and to allow you to access these data sets with an homogeneous API and search for them quite easily. All these data sets are open and you can download and use this data, for example, with an IT resource in order to process it. Finally, the living labs we call resources, or they are actually visitors from different facilities. Currently, we have two facilities, one in Osaka and another one in Lyon, that these are open spaces where visitors are involved in order to test new technologies like prototypes, or to provide feedback, or to participate in open meetings or focus groups. Those are open for experimenters in order to send the ideas or to send surveys that they can involve these end users. We can follow with the testbed nomenclature. We mean to these facilities that provide a specific type of resources. Normally, these facilities are made to test on-the-edge technologies or experiments, meaning that you can access to them, you can upload your programs, you can make some tests before going into production or to do it in other places. So they are excellent playground places in order to access to this data or to access to these resources. They are located as commented in Japan and also in Europe. Here we are more talking, these are more platform-related terminology that we probably will understand also throughout the presentation, but please do not doubt on asking any question to us through the available tools. The first is the aggregator. We call aggregator to the drivers we developed in order to manage the different resources, meaning that we have an aggregator for each type of resource, one aggregator for IT resources, one aggregator for the IoT resources, another one from the open data, and another one from the living labs. This allows us and experimenters to access to these resources homogeneously, wrapping the calls from the upper side of our platform to the specific testbed. The EAS API is the available API to access to resources. This is the homogeneous API that you can use to make your experimentation within the platform. It's a REST API, and you will see how you can access to this and where it is located. The Experimentation Portal is a graphical interface which take advantage of the API in order to manage the different resources, access to them, or create experiments within the platform, and also for the resource reservation, etc. And finally, the resource allocation, which is also related to the resource reservation, is the action of allocating or exploring the resources and allocated to an experiment. This will allow to the experimenters to get this data later and reserve the resources, providing them or ensuring her access during the experiment to these resources. For example, ensuring you will have access to a virtual machines from the IoT testbeds, or specific sensors from the IoT resources. In order to give a common understanding of the platform and to provide you a very high-level architecture of what we developed, you can find here what is our platform about. The first side, we have the common API, which provides the RESTful API in order to access to all the aggregators and therefore the different testbeds, which is protected with a security layer, meaning that you need to get authenticated and authorized in order to access to this API. Later I will explain how to do that. And on top of that, we have the Experimental Portal, which is, as explained, and we'll show you later, the way of managing this API graphically. In the core of the platform, we can find the aggregators that are the drivers that provide you the technology in order to access to a different test method homogeneously, providing a common tool through the API in order to access them. Therefore, there are two ways of experimenting in the platform. On the one hand, we have the portal, which allows you to access to the resources and experiment using a graphical interface. And on the other hand, we have the REST API, which allows you to do more advanced experimentation to access the resources programmatically using the API and make all the functions that the platform provides. To do all of this, to start an experiment, the platform provides the functionality of creating an experiment. And in that sense, there is a workflow, an experiment workflow that you could follow in order to do such experiment. I'd like to wait here a moment before starting with the demo in order to show you how the workflow works. This is composed of 7 steps, let's say, which it's going through the different steps you must follow to become an experimenter, to make an experiment, and to get the results. Firstly, you have to create an account and access securely to the platform, as commented before. And once you have this account and you are allowed to access to the platform, you will be able to browse the resources, discover the resources, and create an experiment. Once you have created an experiment and browse these resources, you can add them to the experiment, and once you are ready, you can start it. Meaning that if you start the experiment, the resources will be automatically reserved for you and you will be able to access them. During the experiment lifetime, you will have time to first provide or program your own tools, access to the different data through the API, but also collect the different measurements from the platform in order to have some results at the end of the experiment. Finally, when the time is done, you will be able to stop the experiment, or the experiment will stop by that time, and access to the different results of this experiment. This result will be accessible through the platform. You will be able to download this CSV from files from the results you have been storing, or you will have several basic tools to make some visualization of the KPIs that I will for sure explain later. So now I will go through the demo in order to show you the different steps you must follow to create and to do an experiment. Now you are watching, or you can look at my screen. This is my web browser where I have several web pages in order to show you what are the steps to join us in the platform and to start experimenting. First thing is you can go to the Festival EU to the Festival Project EU webpage. This webpage we can share to you for sure later, and we are also uploading all this data, all this information about the call for experiment here, so you will be able to access a much more information with all the details on how to access to this data. So now I will enlarge it just for you to check it better. I hope it is better now. The first thing is going to the Call for Experimenter tabs, when you can find the first screen in order to become an experimenter. In this tab, you can also find detailed information about the resources available in the platform, like open data, IoT resources, infrastructure, IT resources, like infrastructure test resources, the Living Lab, the set of APIs, and the fact sheets with useful information about the privacy guidelines, etc. In this web page, you have also the user guide and many YouTube videos we did in order to give you some help in order to manage the platform. Here, you can just go into the Join Us button, and you can, through this button, access to the part when you can join us. This will allow you to access to the form, and in this form you just put your information and you will be able to become an experimenter. As you can see, I have already written it here in order to make it faster. Just need to declare what is your experimentation about. You don't need to be quite specific, but an overview of what you want to do and in which resources are you interested generally. Once you have it, just submit the button, and you will be redirected to the web page. In this web page, just explaining to you that you will receive an email with the link to access to the current to the platform that you will be able to use for the experimentation. The link will direct you to this web page in which your name and your email will be already pre-filled, and you can just introduce your password. Okay. Once you introduce your password, you will create an account and you will get access to the platform. At the very first step, you will get the basic role into the platform. With this role, you will be able only to access to the resources and browse the different resources. So with this role, you will not be able to get any experiment. You will not be able to get any experiment. But once we perform some check on your once we perform some check on your experimentation and we agree on giving you an expert role, you will be able to create experiments. So at the very beginning, you will be able just to browse and search resources to check what do you need for your experimentation, to check what is the EAS API, and to check the different sections of the web page. Once you have more expert role, you will get this information and the token in order to get this access through the API. You can access to this token here, or later I will show you how to access it using the API as well to automatically renew. This token lasts for 1 day, and after 1 day you need to renew it. Now you have, it's important to say that at the very beginning you have access to the platform. You will be getting a different you will be getting a couple of public and private key. It is important to download immediately and to get it and to store it safely, because we will not be able to send you these keys later, as we are not storing this information for you. In that sense, please be sure how to download them. There are some also videos explaining that fact in the website, and you will be able to access to them. Once you have this information, you can log into the platform, and access will to the portal. I will change to another account that I already have the expert role, so I can create experiments, etc. First thing you can do with the platform is to browse the resources. As you can see here, you have the different resource type, system resource type. From one hand, you have the SFA aggregator with the different resources from the SFA. This SFA aggregator provides access to the IT resources. You have the SensiNAT aggregator that provides access to the IoT resources, where we have more than 6,000 resources, different resources. We have the Open Data Federation, when you can access to more than 7,000 catalogs, different catalogs, and you have the Living Lab Manager, when you can access to the to different living labs and different resources from this living lab. We'll go through now each of them. We go to the IT aggregator. We can go here and check the different aggregator. Here we have the two testbeds we have now available in the platform, the Wi-Fi Lab node and the user node. This provides a great set of resources, meaning virtual machines you can access and you can get from there. These virtual machines are available and are described here as a templates. The template is a already created virtual machine that you can select and create for you, providing different possibilities. For example, this virtual machine will provide an Ubuntu server with the 14.4 version, which a medium size, where if we can check in details, it's composed of at least 2 gigabytes or at least 4 gigabytes of RAM, 20 gigabytes of hard drive, and 4 cores, just for doing the experimentation. We have also the large size, which is also with 8 gigabytes of RAM and 8 cores, and the small flavor that is 2 gigabytes of RAM and also 20 gigabytes of storage. If we go back, we can also check the resources regarding to the IoT. Here we have the different platform we have available. For example, we have available the PTL platform that's in Grenoble with different sensors from their actuators and internet sensor. We have the Jose platform with all the resources coming from Japan, stored in the platform, the SensiNat platform with other resources from other testbeds that also wants to join us and include them here as available sensors, and the Smart Santander sensor that are those sensors providing from Smart Santander. If you click on the test and resources, you will also get more information about this, and you will be able to access to the different sensors in a list which is the different exact sensors existing. For example, you can click on detail about the atmospheric concentration, you can check where it is located, the current API, the URL to make the get in order to get this information, and the information we have related to this resource, if it is available, and what the resource is and where it is. These resources are not locable because as this is information that can be shared between different experiments, you don't need to reserve this. In that case, for the IT resources, it completely need to reserve in order that not sharing the same virtual machine with a different person. It is not possible by that time. We also have the Open Data Federation sensors, which are here we have the currently different open data servers that we are using in the platform, and we have federated into the platform. You can access to data from Lyon, you can access to data from the Fireware open data node that has a large data set. You can also access to the Santander data, and also to specific open data server from different outcomes we have or results we have from the platform available here. All these sets are available, and you can use and you can browse in order to get this information. It is also important to say that you cannot just look for this information by using the browser, but you can search for them with some advanced searching filters, like searching from the description, using a regular expression, the location of the keywords. For example, if we can check some resources from the smart station we have in Japan, we can just select the IoT aggregator, select the testbed, and use a keyword in order to look for these resources. For example, we can use a station and we can search. We can I'm sorry. Now here I have a setting from some test before the geographic area. So in Santander, so it is probably the problem to not find these resources in Japan. These are the resources related to the station you can access. You can get if they are available or not. You can get the details, and if you add them to your experiment, you can for sure access to this information. It's the same with the other aggregators. For example, you can look for, as we mentioned before, virtual machines with the Ubuntu pre-installed, and you will get all the existing flavors with this Ubuntu. It is important to say but that not only they are not only templates for the different operating system, but we provide also some templates with some already preloaded tools such as Node.js plus scripting in order to use the platform. We have another templates with some fireware components in order to manage it right out of the box, etc. So I encourage you to check on this platform to see what is available and to see if anything of any of here you can use. We go to Open Data Federation. We can look for this Open Data in Santander, the existing different data sets, and you can check the details, how to access to them. For example, we can check for the taxis and we will get the exact endpoint in order to get this information. Once you are familiarized with this search and browse resources and you get the expert role, it is time to create an experiment. In that sense, in order to create an experiment to the platform and start working with this, you just click here and you can start creating an experiment. I will create a test experiment, test webinar. This is a test. And we can choose here the start date, today for sure, and the end date of the experiment. We can, for example, finish our experiment on Saturday, or we can or it can last for more days. If you create the experiment, you will have this new experiment created, and you will be able to start selecting the resources and choosing as a specific one. In order to do that and to start working and experimenting with it, you need to set it as current into the platform. So now you can see that your current experiment is the newly created experiment. And now if you look at this, there are no resources assigned to this experiment, and you can start this experiment with no resources. In that sense, I will browse or search some resources in order to add them to the experiment and to provide you on how to do this. For example, if we go to the IoT and we want to get some resources from the Japanese side, from the station resources, we can just looking for here as before, search them. Now you can allocate them to the current experiment, meaning that you can access them to these resources and to this value. For example, I will choose the humidity from the Yoga station. I will choose also the temperature, and I will do the same with the Kyoto station. I would also need a virtual machine, for example, to process this this experiment. For example, if I go to the IT aggregator, I will look for virtual machines that provide me already created Node.js with some scripting to access to the sensor for this webinar purposes. I can choose one of these with the Node.js. For example, we can also choose the small one because this experiment will not be very power processing consuming. So I will choose this small template that includes the server plus the script on Node.js. I will allocate this to my experiment. Now we can go back to the experiment place and get what we have in our experiment. I can see here which are the resources I already reserved for my experiment, and I can access them through the platform. So the only thing we have left is to start this experiment in order to use these resources. Just click on the start, and the start request has been sent. I have to explain that this will take some time, several minutes, because the instantiation of the virtual machine takes a long time to do that. So it is not a very quick start, but it's obviously purposes we are creating the virtual machine in Japan, so it takes some time to perform this creation. When it is started, you will get the information in a pop-up here, but also this will change to started. So you will be able to see when the experiment is already started. For the webinar purposes, I have already created several experiments. You can check here at the same site. We go to this, we set it as current, and we go to these details. As you can see, this is experiment running. It's already started. And we'll be finishing tomorrow at the creation time. We started on the 8th of May. It's the same resources I have available with the different information. If we click on the details of this resource, we can see here that is now an instance. Before it was just a template. That means this is already created, the instance, and we have the access. This access includes the IP and to access and the information about the virtual machine. I will not extend too much technically on how to access this. You can find some videos and information in the web platform, but with the previously downloaded private and public keys, you can access to it and you can log into the virtual machines. Just a comment, every virtual machine has a different username. The username is the name of the operative system it runs. In the case of the Ubuntu virtual machines, it is Ubuntu, and the key is using the private key. That is the file you download at the very beginning. In this virtual machine, we have created a script that access to this information in real time, time to time, or subscribing to this information. You can do both. Get the historical values directly, you can get the last values, and you can subscribe to these values in real time. This is done using this API and performing into the script. So you can access to this information through this API, also the historical data, and if the IoT resource provides you the opportunity to make an action, you can execute action on the resource, but in that case they are just providing sensor information from this station. In that experiment we are also doing we are getting some results, and these results can be done to the OML server we have provided here. I started this experiment this morning on the 9th. Yesterday I started yesterday, but I start to collect this information this morning, so we'll have not many information yet, but I can use the provided OML server. OML is a functionality to store all the login information or result you are getting from your experiment in our server, so you can access later to this in order to get some KPIs or some results and to get it at the end of the experiment. We have provided also a graphical interface to access to this data. Here you can download this information as a CSV file or JSON file. As you can see, I started at 5 to 7. That is actually 5 to 9 because it's GMT, the time zone, and the different data we have been getting. From one hand, we have the humidity from the two different stations, Hyogo and Kyoto. As you can see, there are some differences. You can redraw the graphical. You can access to the data on the table in this section. The different data you have been getting time to time, as you can see, many values, and also the temperature. You can get it in the different time. You can also download these files from here, and you can do this later at your own with your own tools, etc. You can choose the date where you can get the data, and once you get the date, you can just get the data that you have collected until now. I have to say that you must send this information to the platform. The platform is not getting any information without your let's say you programmatically send it. Just to finalize, once the experiment is finished, you just need to select the experiment, go to the details, for example here, and you can stop it. So once the experiment is finished, this is another experiment I started, you can just stop it, and the stop record has been sent. So it is stopping. I will say you when it is stopped. When it is stopped, this means that the resources you have reserved will be released and will be available for other experimenters to use. So I encourage you not to use many resources that you are not currently using, because maybe some experimenters needs to do that. Now it is stopped. Here you can see that all the experiment and the different resources has been released, and the experiment is stopped. You can also delete your experiment, but it is not needed by now. Also, you can edit some data of experiment. For example, if you want to end this experiment later, you can edit it and change this information. I would like finally to show you these two sections. One is the user guide that will point you to the festival webpage. Again, you can get here many information. You can go to the open data resources, get the information of the different open data resources. You can go to the Living Lab resources and get this information about the Living Lab. So it is possible for you to get all this information from here. Finally, I would like to show you the API. I will not be very detailed here, but this is an API like using another companies like Twitter or Google to use their platforms. We created our own API for you to use and to programmatically use the platform. This API provides you access to all this different information. For example, you can get the current data of a specific resource. You just need to get the testbed ID, resource ID, the creator ID in order to use the platform. But also in the platform, as we saw, you can actually directly access to this information from here. So it is quite easy to access to the endpoint of this information, either for the current data or the historical data, and programmatically access to this information. You can access to your own experiments, the information of this experiment, to add programmatically some resources, etc. Last but not least, we have to say that the portal is using this API on the background in order to manage all these possibilities. Just to come back, and I don't know if you have any question, please do not hesitate to make it through the chat or the question option we have. We'll be very glad to answer you. I hope I was not too very boring for you, and I tried to do it quickly and walk through. I also encourage you to try the platform, to create an experiment and start working with it. And browse all the different resources so you will be able to access them. And finally, I would like to share you how to use the API quickly, and to give the floor to my colleague Makoto in order to to present you a real use case make using the API of the platform. The way of accessing to the API is firstly getting a token. You can get the token from the platform, as I mentioned before, but you can also get this token using a post to a specific endpoint. The endpoint is here. It will also be available in the Swagger and in the API description I showed you in the platform. And you can just include your email and your password, and you will get this token that is valid for 1 day. It's in seconds, 1 day. With this token, you just need to, in order to access to any part of the API, you have the rights. You are an expert experimenter. You just need to include this header and this token, and you will be able to access to this. If not, the platform will not authorize you to do so. There are some APIs that require only the basic role, that is just creating the portal account, but there are some of them that needs the expert role, that is accessing to the values or creating new experiments and reserving resources. As I showed you before, the API is here in this URL. This information is also uploaded to the web page and also to the portal, Experimentation Portal, so this is for you to find it. So I don't want to be to extend too much on this. I think it's a short walk through the platform. For sure, we can go in more detail. So if you have any question, if you want to check anything, etc., you just need to ask us. Please do not hesitate to send us a message and to make us a question, whatever. We'll be glad to support you technically, to support you on your experiment, and to help you to do so. And finally, before giving the floor to Makoto, I will just remind you that the open call is open. You just need to register in the festival website, and then you will get access to the Experimentation Portal and the Experimentation API, and you could be able to access to the experiment. This is open now since February, and you have time yet to access it, and for sure to get our help using the help desk. So just to finalize this webinar, I will give the floor to my colleague Makoto Onizuka Sensei, that will provide you a real example of using this platform and some data, what you can do as an experiment. So Makoto, I will give you the floor, and I will convert you in presenter.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Okay, can you hear me? So we have seen the basic framework of the festival platform. Now we'd like to explain the platform by using our real case application, route recommendation. We are planning to make the experiment for this use case this coming July at Santander, Spain. So the current system is a prototype, and it is still under improvement. We first explain what our use case application looks like, then show you which types of resources of the platform we would like to use for our use case. And finally, we demonstrate our use case, which actually works on the festival platform. So what our use case application looks like? Our application is to recommend a route to users based on the user query. A route starts from the current place of the user and consists of free parking space and multiple points of interest, such as shops and restaurants. What is different from existing route recommendation services is that our system can provide the user the exact routes, as well as the shorter routes, but similar POIs. Let's see this by using example. Oh, look back. Let me see this by using an example. Let's assume that user wants to go to a seafood restaurant marked as shrimp. Then go to gift shop. Our system searches for exact routes with free parking space. In addition to that, our system also finds similar but shorter routes, like this. This route is shorter than the exact route, but the category specified by the user is not exact, but similar. Look at this place marked by apple. This indicates that Italian restaurant, which is similar to the user-specified category, seafood restaurant. So to develop these types of use case application, which types of resources we need to use? Of course, we need IT resources, virtual machines. Computers are always necessary for making experiments. Second, open data resource for point of interest, shops and restaurants. We need them for route recommendation. They are provided from Santander SICAN node. Last one is IoT sensor resource for detecting free parking space in Santander. Since our system is under development, we only use the first two, open data resource and IT resource, in the current version. We will integrate the IoT sensor resource by next month. Here shows the schema information of the open data of the shops in Santander. They are in JSON format. Actually, there are shops name, category used for similar route search, and position, latitude and longitude used for finding shorter routes. The architecture of our use case application follows a typical three-layer architecture. We have web server, database server, and client applications. Also, we developed our own route recommendation engine. The red circle indicates the festival platform. The users can access to the service by web browsers. At the server side, our program access to the open data of shops and restaurants provided from Santander and use it for recommending routes. Now we will see how to build applications. This is exactly the same we have seen at the last section presented by Juan. First, we log in as an expert role to the platform and then go to the page of my experiments and create a new experiment. Then we search and add required resources, open data resource and IT resource. After that, we start the virtual machines. For virtual machine, we upload and start the servers, web servers, MySQL, and our own programs for route recommendations. Finally, we can start our use case applications. So let me demonstrate. So first, let me access to the festival platform. So this is my account of the festival platform, and go to my experiments. And here I have one experiment, and choose it as the current experiment. Then we can see the details of the current setting. Actually, we make reservations for two types of resources, open data resource and IT resource for virtual machines. After make reservations of the resources, we start the servers of web server, database server, and our applications. Then we can make real demonstrations. Okay. So let's assume that we are in some place in Santander, Spain. And also let's assume that we would like to go shopping with my wife or my husband, whatever. But so we would like to buy men's footwear and some food. So let me choose two destinations. First is since we would like to buy men's shoes, so let me choose men's footwear. Then for the second destination, let me choose the delicatessen and prepared food, and then click search. Then we can get the three routes. The routes are ordered, starting from the shortest to the longest. As we can see that for the last route, there are two shops whose category is exactly the same that the user has specified, men's footwear and delicatessen and prepared food. For the first two routes, they are actually shorter than the last one. Last one is 1,300 kilometers, and the first one is about 500 meters. And in this case, there are two shops, and category of those shops are similar to the user given categories. And for each route, we can browse it to the map application by clicking here. Then, as we can see that the current position of the user is specified by green spot. Then the route takes us to the first shop and then the last shop. In this way, the users can obtain exact routes as well as similar routes according to the user's request. Let me summarize the user case part. We have seen that how we can use the festival platform by using our use case. It actually uses two types of resources, open data resource and IT resource. The architecture follows three-layer architecture: web server, database server, and our own application server. The bottom line here is that by using the festival platform, we can use virtual machines, open data, IoT sensor resources, so that we can easily develop our new use case applications, whatever we want. We consider and design new use case applications, and then we can develop them by employing the festival platform. So this is the end of my part. So should I give the presenter mode to someone?
Yes, thank you, Makoto, for your presentation. You can give it to me if you want.
Which part should I click?
No, I will take it.
Okay, please steal it from me. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
I took it from you. Thank you, Makoto. So I would like just to finalize this webinar, but not before answering your question. Please be sure you can ask anything. I think there was someone that make the hand. I think David Martinez. I don't know if you can write your question into the chat or the question tag. I'm not sure. Or you might want to participate. I can give you the sound. You can tag now, David Martinez.
Juanra?
Yes.
Martino speaking. Hello.
Yes.
Yes, there are some questions. Yes, we can. This is Martino Maggio from Engineering Informatica. That is one of the technical partner of the festival project. Yes, I'm going to read if there are some remaining questions. Yes, instead of answering by chat, I can answer by voice directly. I have a question about what is the longest period an experiment can last. I would say that there is no specific or fixed duration for the moment for an experimentation. Honestly, the deadline is related to the deadline of call for experimenters. So you can find here that I don't know if you can highlight this this information on the website about which is the end date of the call for experimenters. But in any case, you can find all the information on the website. So it's only related with the end of the call of the experimenters. That is for sure before the end of the project that will be on September. So the call of experimenter will close before, and so this is I would say the limit for the duration of the experiment, but we don't have other limits. So I don't know if there are other questions related to, I already answered to some questions before that are posted in the chat that were related to the possibility to export the virtual machine, that for the moment is not possible. But it's possible only to collect the experiment through the OML server, or you can also send your data to a specific, for example, a specific repository that you can install in your virtual machine, and then you can export manually. But there is no automatic way to export the virtual machine. But for sure, we can discuss if for specific experiment is necessary. We can also discuss to internally to have this type of function. So sorry, I have there are another question. There is another question related how SME have been able to get business benefit by using testbeds. So this is I would say very not simple question to understand, not easy. It's also related to I would say what festival business plan and what festival can offer in terms of business opportunities. I think that the strong point is the possibility to access in a simple way, so without a problem dealing with different technologies, to different resources. Different resources that are IoT resources, virtual machines, open data. So all these resources that can be for sure used to build application in smart city domain or in any other domain. So this is, I think, one of the benefits of the platform, and for sure the possibility to use existing tools such as the portal to test the application, reducing time and reducing also costs. For the moment, in the project, this is an experimental platform for sure, but the project in our business plan is to continue, as also our coordinator present at the beginning, in order to continue to maintain the platform and to improve the platform and to give a future, also a business future for this platform beyond the project duration. Another question was yes, will be about the recording of the presentation. Yes, the webinar will be recorded and posted on the festival project, and I think also on the YouTube channel. So I don't know if there are other questions. For sure, as Juarra already presented, that the best way to have more information is to participate to open call, to subscribe, to try the portal, and to ask for more technical information directly to us. We have a dedicated help desk mail. And for sure, if there are specific requests, it's possible also to organize other more specific technical webinar, because this one was it was an overview, simple overview of the platform, but for sure, if you need more technical information, we are always available.
Hi, it's Jander from COA speaking. Martino, we have a very interesting question that you might want to answer. Timo, he asks about how SMEs have been able to get business benefits by using the platform from Festival. If you have a success story.
Yeah, yes, I tried before to explain to this question. I think that it was my replies was related to the benefits that the federation can give to SME, that in terms of simplify the access, technological access to distributed the resource all around the world, because in our project we are putting together Japanese resources, Japanese assets, and European one. So this is also a good opportunity to have the possibility to access in a simple way to this to these resources. So this is basically, I think, the strong point of our platform, and the possibility to again to test in the platform using the resources the tools that we already provided to SME to speed up the development process and the test process of the platform. We have another question. Okay, it's a question related. The question is, yes, probably the people cannot see the question, so I have to repeat, sorry. It's a question from a research point of view. Could you please tell us whether living labs are suitable for experimenting educational fields or not? Okay, so basically there is not limit in terms of domains that is possible to to test in terms of type of experiment in the platform. In relation with the living labs, what the living labs for the moment can provide to the experimenter is the possibility to, for example, put in place some activities with the visitors of the people that are part of the living labs inside the living labs, related to, for example, to the test of some application, to the evaluation of some application. For sure, the living labs are physical place, so it's not easy to connect an experimenter that is in one country with a living lab that is, for example, in another country, in Japan, with an experimenter that is in Europe, because you know, it's a matter of physical presence. But the living lab, for sure, can participate in specific experiments with their expertise putting in place their expertise and the people that can for sure test, evaluate some specific application. But in any case, the involvement of the Living Lab is something that should be managed, cannot be managed automatically. For sure, it's not an automatic resource. So the Living Lab can be contacted separately. And if some experimenters want to involve a Living Lab, can contact directly the Living Lab responsible and the festival partners in order to describe his needs and to propose how the Living Lab can help. The Living Lab in specific, these Living Lab are not strictly related with the educational fields, but are more, I would say, related to the innovation, smart cities and innovation domain. We have the Tuba Living Lab in Lyon, and we have also the lab in Osaka that are more focused on the smart city domain and also in the innovation domain in terms of also technological innovation. I don't know if there are other questions. So, Juanra, I think that you can continue with the presentation of the last part of the open calls, to remind the open calls, and in case I will interrupt you to answer to another question. Okay.
Okay, just a comment. We received some comments or some previous question before the before this webinar through the email. Just one of them that I think was not answered. The testbed that are part of this platform and those that are part of the festival consortium, but also we have federated some other open data platforms available, for example, or there are some sensor data from other Japanese testbed that are also included in the platform. So it is, if you want to access to this platform as a testbed owner, you could also ask us, and probably we can help you if you want to provide your testbed as well through this platform. And also, as commented at the beginning, with the Urban Technology Alliance, you will probably in the future participate in this alliance and also participate along with your testbed in this. I would like just to finalize this webinar, again presenting the call for experimenter slide. Encourage you again to register. Don't hesitate. It is open. It is free. We will attend your question and technical comments and questions. For sure, you find anything that might need to revise from our side. Please let us know. The registration is open for sure until the end of September, and the email you can contact us is written in there, helpdesk@festivalproject.eu. Again, I will share this presentation and webinar into the web page for you to access online later if you have any doubt. And I would like to finish just saying thank you everyone for attending this webinar. We had many assistants into the webinar, and we are very thankful for that. So please. So please do not hesitate in sending us any comment or doubt you have about this, and and that's all from my side. Yes.
Yes, there is our last question. You can answer.
Okay.
From Pablo Castillo, it's what's the average time for running an experiment? Or that means how many time is necessary to accumulate enough data and check the functionality of my project. I don't. I cannot answer to this question because there is no an average time to have enough data. Depends on which is your experiment and which type of data you are using. For example, before Juarra showed a very simple experiment to collect some measurements about humidity or temperature from some train station in Japan. And depends on your experiment. You can call for sure if your experiment needs a specific quantity of data. This depends on the experiment and on the type of data that you want. You can collect, for example, humidity information for 1 week or for 1 month. And this depends also on the type of sensors and the scope that you have. So in general, there is no answer. For an experimenter can be enough 2 days to make the specific experiment, to collect the information. For another, it can be necessary 1 month. So this is very related to the scope of the experiment. In any case, it's possible to also, you can decide also the amount of information that you want. For example, if you want to get the humidity information every 1 minute or 5 minutes, you can decide to get this information, creating specific scripts that access to the sensor every specific amount of minutes. So this is also.
Yes, I agree. I agree with Martino in that sense. For example, I'm thinking about you want to check the status of the parking status in Santander or some cities. Maybe 1 week or several weeks it is needed for that experiment in order to know what is the behavior on Monday or in the weekly days or in the weekend, etc. So it depends on the experiment. There is also a functionality to get the historical data. I think the historical data we provide is from the last several weeks, I think, or month, and so you can also access to this information for several sensors. And finally, the open data provides you these data sets that can be for several years or also last the time data. So it depends on the experiment completely. So we can wait for 5 more minutes or several minutes. If you have any question or comment, please write it down, and we will share with you all the answers for sure. There is another question from Jaime. Can the platform respond to events? If the question if you can subscribe to this event, yes, the platform provides you a method to subscribe to sensor data. So every time a sensor is updated, I mean the sensor get new data, it will update you in real time. The way to do that is you provide You can provide a server, a RESTful server, which a callback, what we call a callback URL. We can for sure write us and we can help you more on that. And you just provide this through the API to the platform. You callback URL and the sensor you want to receive these updates. And every time the sensor updates, will send you this information automatically to your server. So thanks for the question. Yes, this is possible. Actually, in my screen, you can see the put RESTful APIs for subscription and unsubscription. So more information on the Swagger URL and the Swagger web. So how to access it. Okay, so we'll close this session, this webinar. Thank you again very much for your attention. It is a pleasure for us to help you in this sense. Please do not hesitate. We are quite open to answer your questions and to help you on your experiment. So contact us without any problem, and we'll try to be as helpful as possible, helpful. Also, I would ask you to make this question either in French, Italian, or Spanish as well, although the official language for the project is English. So if you feel more comfortable, we can also help you on this. And I think that's all. Thank you very much. We'll share you the video so you can access to this later offline. Thank you, everyone. Yes, for sure, we will share the slides. They are asking this. We'll share also the slides for you to have them.